have you yourself seen NHI? Are you aware of more than one type of NHI? But Jay Stratton does say that he has seen an NHI. Do you know what he's referring to?
I have seen with my own eyes non-human craft and non-human beings.
Luis, you got some explaining to do. All right, Luis Elizondo is back for another interview, and we've got some highlights. He was interviewed by Chris Ramsey on the channel Area 52, and it was a great interview. So I've got a particular clip that we're going to look at today, well, a few, of Luis Elizondo responding to this brand new trailer that just came out called The Age of Disclosure. It was this documentary that was shot in secret over the last 2 years, and everyone is talking about it in the UFO community, and it is premiering at South by Southwest in March. And yeah, everyone's excited about it, especially a particular part in the interview where Jay Stratton, the former head of the UAP task force, states that he has seen with his own eyes UFO craft and alien beings, right?
I was recruited to a highly sensitive government program that investigated unidentified aerial phenomenon.
For over 16 years, on behalf of the U.S. government, I worked as a senior intelligence official on the unidentified aerial phenomenon topic.
We learned that the U.S. government was involved in a long-running secret war with other nations to collect and reverse engineer vehicles not made by humans.
I have seen with my own eyes non-human craft and non-human beings.
What else you want to know?
So yeah, look, I made a trailer reaction video to that. I'll put a link in the description. Go check it out so you can see the full trailer and me reacting to it and talking about it. And yeah, there's supposed to be a lot of great things coming out in this trailer. And Chris Ramsey got to ask Luis Elizondo about this, and I found this to be a very, very interesting part of the interview. Let's take a look at the first clip.
There is a documentary coming out that you've been a part of that we just saw that's been making the rounds, The Age of Disclosure. Mm-hmm. It seems like a big one. It seems like a Dopser dream team. I mean, there's a lot of people in that lineup.
Yeah.
Can you shed any light on what's to be expected in this documentary?
So I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
I'm very eager for it to come out. I have been part of facilitating a lot of the people who are in that movie to come forward. It's been a long project, probably about 3 years now. It's been done, as most people now know, sub rosa, right, in secret, because it's very important. And there's people that are being interviewed that have never come out publicly on this topic.
That we've not seen on the trailer.
You've not seen on trailer. I think people can well, you know what? People are funny, right? Because some people come back and say, wow, this is the definitive documentary. And then other people will come out and say, meh.
Nothing burger.
Yeah, because you're not meeting their expectations, sure. Right? You know, and so, you know, I'm very, very, what I think it does, it certainly moves the needle in the right direction. Everything I try to do is to move the needle in the right direction. I think this film project is another example of some very brave Americans coming forward.
First-hand witnesses?
You know, I don't want to give too much away. I'll let the audience decide for themselves. You know, I want to be very careful what I say and what I don't say. But I do believe it's going to change the conversation irrevocably. Mm-hmm. And I'm very excited for it to come out.
Are you aware of any new footage of UAP or NHI being featured?
I can't discuss the details of the film. Like I said, I have
to ask on behalf of the audience.
Yeah, sure. I have not seen the film in its complete form, but you know, you have some very, very significant information in that documentary.
All right, so we just learned a few things from that clip. One, that there's going to be more people that are featured in the trailer to come out and say some pretty substantial things, right? Potentially some whistleblowers here that people have been facilitating behind the scenes, like Luis Elizondo, and helping with this, right? So clearly we're going to see some people we've never heard from before, probably at, you know, high positions of power coming out with some sort of story or something. And that answer to, will there be some sort of like UFO footage or something in the documentary? I've heard that too. And I don't remember where I've heard it. You know what I mean? I just know I've definitely heard that through the grapevine, and people have talked about that. Whether or not it's true or not, I don't know. And that's why Luis Elizondo is getting asked about that. And his answer doesn't, honestly, it makes me think there is something in it. Because I think if there's nothing like that, you probably say that. But then again, who knows? It's hard to tell. You know, sometimes I hate that whole, well, the non-answer is an answer. I mean, yes and no, right? It could be very well just like a legal contract. So it's just like, I can't talk about it. I can't say it one way or the other. But the fact that there will be more people, right, in this, who clearly they're not going to put it all in the trailer, right? But again, I highly recommend checking out that trailer reaction so you can see the full trailer. It's a really good trailer, and I'm very excited about that project. And one point right here that we're going to get to is Chris bringing up, well, Jay Stratton admits in the trailer that he's a first-hand witness, right? So to be like, well, I'll let people decide for themselves if there's first-hand witnesses. I mean, it's admitted in the trailer, right, from Jay Stratton, and Chris brings it up right here.
Jay Stratton says...
Not just Jay.
Okay,
That's
well,
right.
I mean, that is interesting. But Jay Stratton does say that he has seen an NHI. Do you know what he's referring to?
I do, but you have to talk to Jay about that. I don't like speaking on other people's behalf.
Okay.
You've probably noticed that in other interviews. I'm not a kiss and tell kind of guy.
Yeah.
And I'm the kind of guy that, if people want to throw rocks at me for that, that's fine.
No, I respect that, actually. I think that's probably the best move there. But is it safe to assume that you know what he's talking about?
I don't like to presume or assume anything.
Great.
All right, he kind of gives two answers there, right? Because initially he says that he does know what Jay Stratton's referring to, but you have to talk to Jay, and then he's like, I don't want to presume or assume anything. But he does say real quickly, I do, right? I know what Jay Stratton is talking about.
But Jay Stratton does say that he has seen an NHI. Do you know what he's referring to?
I do, but you have to talk to Jay about that.
So I think it is safe to assume that Lou does know, in fact, Jay's story and what he's referring to when he says that he has seen with his own eyes alien beings and craft.
I have seen with my own eyes non-human craft and non-human beings.
He's a first-hand witness. So, all right, interesting to get a little context there. There's one other part of Chris's questioning here, which is phenomenal, by the way. Link in the description. Go check out the full interview. That he asks Luis Elizondo a fascinating question. Take a look.
Have you yourself seen NHI?
Let's share that one for a little later.
A little later, like after this airs?
Maybe never. No. Again, I am very restricted on what I can say and how I say it from the government. I still am a very loyal American. This conversation is continuing, and I think more will be forthcoming in time. And I'll leave it at that.
It kind of sounds like he's, I don't know. He's clearly working around the question and wants to get to it at some point, but it's not a yes or no there, right? Now, in his book, Imminent, Luis Elizondo talks about orbs flying quite literally inside of his house. So I don't, I think maybe he wants to give a more nuanced answer there. He's seen things, but doesn't know if it's NHI, right? But he also talks about being told about bodies and craft, retrievals and stuff in his book. I mean, he's quite open in his book. So I don't know why he doesn't just admit that, but maybe that's what's also in the Age of Disclosure, documentary, where he comes out with, more of his story there, right, on what he's seen. I don't know. Very interesting. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments. And there's one last clip that I'm going to show y'all from another very interesting question from Chris Ramsey, and Luis Elizondo's answer is also quite telling.
Are you aware of more than one type of NHI?
Let me see how I can answer this. Accuracy is very important. Being aware of is not necessarily the same as having proof of.
So there you have it. Being aware of and not actually having proof of are two different things. And I think that's an excellent statement from Luis Elizondo. And I think that's something we should all consider. I know myself, I do, right? So honestly, good answer. And again, I recommend going to check out the full interview. He goes into further explanation about, you know, kind of what that means. So there's a lot in that interview. So again, I highly recommend going to check it out. All right, y'all, don't forget to like that video and make sure and subscribe to the channel. We put out new videos every day. We'll see you on the next one. Remember, every day's a gift, y'all. Peace.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep.